Fantasy Football Booms and Busts. Week 9 Recap. Week 9 of the NFL season saw some veteran running backs defying age-related expectations, with standout performances that shook up fantasy football rankings. Here's a look at the top booms and busts from the week. Boons. 1. Derrick Henry, RB, Bow. Stats: 106 rushing yards, 2 TDs. Fantasy points: 25.8. Henry continues to impress in Baltimore, scoring in every game this season. His performance against the Broncos showcased his ability to deliver consistent fantasy points, especially as the season progresses and he often finds his stride. 2. Saquon Barkley, RB, PHI. Stats: 159 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD, 40 receiving yards, 1 receiving TD. Fantasy points: 31.4. Barkley was electric, contributing both on the ground and in the air. His highlight reel plays helped the Eagles secure a critical win, solidifying his role as a top fantasy asset. 3. Alvin Kamara, RB, NO. Stats: 215 total yards, 29 carries, 6 receptions. Fantasy points: 24.5. Despite the Saints' struggles, Kamara has been a workhorse, racking up touches. His massive workload gives him a solid fantasy floor, though concerns about wear and tear are valid. 4. Achane, RB, MIA. Stats: 121 total yards, 2 TDs, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Fantasy points: 28.1. Achane continues to be a central figure in the Dolphins' offense, making an impact both on the ground and through the air. His dual-threat capability makes him a valuable asset in fantasy lineups. 5. Joe Burrow, QB, CIN. Stats: 280 passing yards, 5 TDs. Burrow had a stellar game against the Raiders, throwing 5 touchdown passes, though none went to Jamar Chase. Burrow's ability to spread the ball around keeps him in the upper tier of fantasy quarterbacks. Busts. 1. Dak Prescott, QB, DAL. Stats: 133 passing yards, no TDs. Exit due to injury. Prescott's injury and lackluster performance before leaving the game left fantasy managers disappointed, especially as the Cowboys struggled against the Falcons. 2. Jamar Chase, WR/CIN. Stats: 7 receptions, 43 yards, no TDs despite 11 targets. Chase couldn't find the end zone in Burrow's 5-touchdown game, highlighting the unpredictability of fantasy football. 3. Tua Tagovailoa, QB, MIA. Performance: struggled to connect with his top receivers. While he threw for decent yardage, Tagovailoa's inability to target Hill effectively dampened his overall fantasy value. 4. Jordan Love, QB, GB. Stats: 273 passing yards, no TDs. 1. Love's inconsistency was evident again as he failed to lead the Packers to victory and could not capitalize on scoring opportunities. Conclusion: as we move deeper into the season, it's clear that some veterans are still capable of elite fantasy performances, while younger quarterbacks are struggling to find their rhythm. Adjustments may be necessary as injuries and matchups continue to impact fantasy lineups. Keep an eye on emerging players like Achane and the steady veterans like Henry and Barkley who are proving age is just a number in fantasy football.